again?
Claire.
You've got a stalker, Claire. And he knows too much already. Run, Claire. Claire, you're going to start the applause. You are keen, I like that. I'm going to put my number seat.
Yeah!
Welcome to the stage, Robbie.
Thank you all very much. Thank you all for coming out and supporting the comedy. I'm very glad to be doing stand-up myself. I think it's a wonderful thing to do. I think it's a great way to meet people as well, and I can appreciate that. Because when I meet people, I tend to confuse them a bit because my voice and face don't match. You know, I sound like I teach Latin, and I look like I punch geese. I'm experimenting a lot with my style at the moment, like growing the beard and stuff. I like having this beard because without it I tend to look like Wreck-It Ralph. Now I live in like a big shared house with a bunch of other young broke people, and there has been this habit recently that has just consumed many of my closest friends for what is well over a decade at this point. I used to be part of it myself, and it took up a lot of my time, and I was very unproductive with it. And I'm trying to put that behind me now. But whenever I'm at home, I'm just constantly surrounded by it on a daily basis. So I want to take this opportunity to just say I am completely finished. I am done with Pokemon. It's time for it to die, I really think so. I don't know if you've kept up with the more recent TV series of it in particular. There's a series called Pokemon Black and White, which has an episode that features around a Pokemon called Dwebble. Now, if you want to picture Dwebble in your mind, it's basically a hermit crab with big fuck me eyes. That's what you So it starts off with Ash and Pikachu, along with their two vacant-looking, interchangeable, half-wit friends there for this particular season. They're traveling down a rocky valley and they come across Dwebble and instantly decide to capture it. Because, of course, in Pokemon, poaching is all fun and games. So Ash sends in Pikachu, and then the other two send in a couple of Pokemon called Axew and Pansage. It's already a 3-on-1 fight, which is fucked up morals for a kid's show. And then there's this big Pokemon battle erupts. Pokemon battle, and there's lightning shards and laser beams going like to which at one point there's a Dwebble. He incidentally smashes a rock with his claw, from which a small chunk, smaller than a golf ball, flies out and hits Pansage in the head, to which Pansage is knocked down, and everybody's shocked. And then everyone crowds around Pansage. The fight is called off right there. And then Pansage is all like sort of delirious with spirals for eyes going Pansage, Pansage, Pansage. And everyone feels awful about it. And Dwebble feels awful about it for hitting him in the head with a small rock. Pikachu has been using fucking Thunderbolts so far. And Dwebble is made to go through the rest of the episode with this dreadful guilt trip for what is basically just defending himself. You know, what kind of message is this for all the stoned 20-year-olds watching? I know what you're thinking though, all is not lost, for the one girl of the group happens to know this ancient remedy that's been handed down from generation to generation. And so she goes off into the woods, finds some herbs, then brings them back and starts mixing them up in a pestle and mortar. You know, that's another thing. These people are supposed to be hiking across open country. Do you have any idea how much a pestle and mortar weighs? So she starts mixing the drink, and Pansage is in a tiny little bed going, Pansage, Pansage. And then he drinks it, and the next morning he feels great again. Pansage. Everything's hunky-dory. So good to know that even in the good old days, people were able to brew up a herbal cure for being hit in the head with a rock. Now, I fully admit that I watched Pokemon as a kid, just like any other kid of my generation. I know I look older, I sound older, I act older, but believe me or not, I was born in the 90s. Yes. At the time, I was actually a bigger fan of a TV series called Digimon. Now, that means the Digimon crowd's in tonight. Fantastic. It's an electronic theme tune. I can't do this. Fuck it. Okay. Now, Digimon. Now, Pokemon and Digimon, they're very similar shows, right? Now, they both work off these brightly coloured monsters with superpowers fighting each other on behalf of children. It's a common formula. It's been used many times, like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Beyblade, Monster Rancher, Medabots, Transformers. It's a profitable formula. Fuck it. But now, looking back from this semi-adult perspective I have now, I've noticed a distinct difference between the two of them, which makes me feel quite nauseous, actually. Like, for instance, in Digimon, the kids have been transported from reality into this world that's full of these monsters, where the evil ones hunt them down and the good ones protect them. So, whenever Digimon fight each other, it's always a matter of survival. There's something instinctive about it. There are times when it's a fundamental necessity, there's times when it's an ethical dilemma, and this interesting stuff happens in the show because of that. Whereas in Pokemon, these kids are going out and capturing creatures from the wild, instantly starting to training them to fight, whilst also being their friend, and then making them compete against each other in tournaments in order to win badges. All glory, trophies, etc. go to the trainer. The Pokemon doesn't even get the badge. It just made me feel very sick to think that Ash Ketchum is just the anime equivalent of a thug organising a dogfight. I hope that Pikachu straps into a chair, sits on his head, and thundershocks the little bastard until his teeth melt. Fuck Pokemon! The story's better in Digimon as well. If the Digi-Destined fail to defeat the evil Digimon overlords, then the entire digital world will be destroyed, with them in it. If Ash fails to win the Pokemon tournament, someone else will! If he wins, he'll start training for the next tournament. If he loses, he'll start training for the next tournament. What's the other cartoon I was going to talk about? Dragon Ball Z. Now, Dragon Ball Z, I thought it was an amazing show growing up. It was an incredible mix of these spectacular, badass action sequences mixed in with some of the most mindless, repetitive fuckwit dialogue I've ever heard in my life. I did enjoy the show, I want to stress that, but this is what I mean. There is a video on YouTube of a fight from the show. It's the big Gohan versus Cell fight. A big climactic set piece in the show. And this video of the entire fight is 4 hours and 35 minutes long. I know, it's heavy. But someone else, they got the same video and they edited it down, so it's just the pure action, like all the fighting moves. So there's none of the pauses or the dialogue or the cutaway to the characters watching the fight. And 20 minutes! It's 20 minutes! That leaves 4 hours and 15 minutes of people doing this. And occasionally saying things like, "I've never seen such power." And you gotta hang in just a little bit longer. And I've not had a shit all weekend. Then again, if Dragon Ball Z isn't your thing, then you can always fall back into the charms of animated pornography. That's good stuff, mate. And it's fair. No one gets forced into anime porn. Unless there's just a studio full of people somewhere. This is so wrong! Shade the balls! You know, I used to avoid drinking before a gig because I wanted to keep my memory intact, you know? But it turns out that alcohol doesn't really affect your memory nearly as much as life does. So. Now, okay, give it away. I work in a Wix, okay, so you might think that's a bit of a desperate move for a guy like me, but then again, I am young, I'm naive, I need the money, and I've got the body to get that job done. Now, recently, I was at work and I was chatting with a colleague on the shop floor, and I was feeling quite low at the time. There was a lot of tension in my household, so I was talking to him about it, and you know, he listened naturally, and he gave me some advice in the form of a half-hour lecture on how to pick up hot women and then fuck them and leave them. I was just feeling lousy because my housemates didn't get on, and he unloaded that on me. To tell the truth, I found it hilarious. But I couldn't really appreciate every little thing that he said. Like, he was giving me the kind of stock stuff that you get for putting, mate, you gotta have a shower, you gotta dress up nice, you gotta go to a bar, you know, meet some girls there. But this is the main thing, this is the secret, Robbie. Just don't care what they think. That's the secret, it's simple as that, just don't care what they think. But it's not that simple, is it? In fact, it's bollocks! We do care. We shouldn't ignore the fact that we care. It's because we care that we get the motivation to meet people in the first place. You know, it blows my mind how you can want someone's attention without caring what they think. You know who actually does that? Rapists. If men didn't care what women thought of them. If men didn't care what women thought of them, then they wouldn't bother to wash or to get dressed up nice or, lie about their assets. It's all they're doing is just presenting an exaggerated positive version of themselves. It's a bit like stand-up, actually. Yeah. I know I've had this conversation with a few people, because I've had many friends in my time who get laid regularly, but they still have the nerve to tell me, dude, you do stand-up? Wow, that's so brave of you, man. I could never do that. I think what they do is brave. That's the problem with bravery. It's so subjective. They don't tell you that when you're a kid. If I were in a Disney fairy tale, I could valiantly slay the dragon and laugh as it ate my horse. But then I'll have palpitations in my chest as I'm approaching the lady in the coma, thinking, lip balm, chewing gum, all that shit. Oh gosh, she's not going to appreciate this. I should have brought Jake for this bitch. She'd like Jake. It's always interested me how both pulling and stand-up comedy, they both take a lot of confidence to do right. But then they're completely different kinds of confidence. If social interaction were easy, then everyone would be doing it, wouldn't they? Which is a shame, because comedy and romance, they have so much in common, namely embarrassment, depression, and a lot of begging. Like even here, before I came on, I was back there, building up with excitement and anticipation, and then I bounce onto stage, and I'm exposing myself to all of you, to all of your criticism and judgment and spit. And then releasing the tension with the joy of laughter. And it's all just madness. It rather mirrors the roller coaster of emotions we feel as we fall in love. Yes. No. An orgasm. That's it. An orgasm. That's a much better analogy, actually. Sorry, orgasm. Yeah. Sorry, I'm always confusing orgasms for love. I think a lot of people do. Ladies and gentlemen, not only is that my third glass, ladies and gentlemen, I have not had a great year. Don't get me wrong, it's had its good moments, but overall it's not been great. Now, at the end of last year, I made a New Year's resolution to do more gigs, because at the time, because at that point, after about 5 years from my first ever gig, I'd only done 64 gigs over 5 years, which is pathetic. And so my goal for this year was to do at least 64 in order to sort of double my my experience in just 1 year and that kind of thing. I'd do another 64, and as of this gig, I've done 86. Which added together means my running total is now 150 exactly. And because of that, and because this year hasn't been so great, I would like to thank you all for coming here tonight and making my final gig of this year such a high note. Thank you very much. Happy New Year! Yeah!